Hey guys, welcome to a new video. I titled this video Fall Wedding Guest Makeup, but this could be an event makeup look for any type of event, obviously, and it also doesn't have to take place in the fall. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with my eye makeup today. Even though I would love to start with my base with you guys to cover up all this acne that's happening on my face, we're gonna do the eyes first because that is what I would recommend you guys do if you are doing a little bit more eye makeup than you would do on a day-to-day basis, just because we're gonna go a little bit more heavy-handed with our eyeshadows and we're gonna do lots of blending, and when we do that we can get a lot of fallout that happens on the bottom parts of our eyes, and that can make the rest of our makeup look muddy. So I'm going in first with an eyeshadow primer. I have tried so many of them and this is my absolute favorite one. It's from the brand Laura Mercier, and you're gonna want to prime your eyes first so that your eyeshadow will stay on all night. I'm gonna give a lot of tips in this makeup tutorial about how to make your makeup last, because I feel like that's something that really differentiates a regular person doing their makeup from having your makeup professionally done, is that when you have your makeup professionally done, it's gonna actually last all day and all night if you needed to. So make sure you're paying attention to that as we go throughout the tutorial. Concealer, in my opinion, does not work as an eyeshadow primer. Concealers are typically not matte enough. They are made to look and act more like skin, and so you're gonna get creasing and they're gonna let oil come through more than a product that's actually made to be an eyeshadow primer will. So if you're wanting your eye makeup to last, invest in an eyeshadow primer. I'm wearing this kind of eggplanty, burgundy, kind of reddish toned dress today because I'm gonna do an eyeshadow look that kind of complements this color. I feel like these kind of burgundy, rich, warm red tones just really scream fall, and that's what makes this look more oriented towards a fall event style makeup as opposed to something that I might wear in the spring or summer. I'm going to show you a few different options for palettes, just things that you might have in your collection that are similar that you can use to recreate this look. So the palette that I'm going to use to do my eye makeup today is this one right here from Natasha Denona. This is the Natasha Denona Retro palette. So in here we have lots of kind of reddy burgundy tones, some purples, some neutrals. Perfect fall palette if you ask me. You could also do something a little bit warmer, more bronzy would work as well. This is the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. So you can see in here there's still some like richer, more reddy toned browns, and we've got some purples down on this side as well. So if you've got some richer, warmer tones like this, these would go really nicely for a fall toned look as well. And then the last palette to show you is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is old, limited edition one, but just so you can see the tones in here. Over here on this side of the palette, we've got some more purpley tones, some rich, warm kind of fall colors, a little bit of like pink undertones in there. So those types of colors would work as well. So just use whatever you have. Like I said, for today's look, I'm going to go in with the Natasha Denona Retro palette. And I'm going to start off with a color that's not too dark and not too light. Something right in the middle, like this one right here. Which brush you use is also very important when you're applying your eyeshadows. I'm going to use this one here today. It's kind of a paddle brush. It's a little bit dense, but it's got a little bit of fluffiness on the top too. This is a super common style of brush, so I feel like a lot of you will have this type of brush in your makeup collection. You want it to be able to pack on product and blend at the same time. I'm gonna go right in with that color from my Natasha Denona palette. It's called Go Go if you're using the same palette. And I'm gonna apply that all the way across my eyelid. So the look that I'm gonna do today, I feel like is something really easy, something that everybody can recreate. You don't have to be a makeup artist to be able to achieve this look. Just follow the steps as we go and you guys will be able to create this look perfectly. So I've got that color all the way on my lid from the inner corner to the outer corner. Same thing on the other side. I feel like I'm going to be saying this in every video for the rest of time, but there are two construction projects happening literally steps away from my home, and it is so loud in here every single day. I was going to film this video on Tuesday this week. It's Thursday today, but they were literally jackhammering the ground steps away from my balcony, so it just couldn't be done. It's gonna be noisy in the background of all my videos for a little while. I bet most of you don't even hear it, but just in case you do, I'm trying my best. Okay, so once we've got that color all over our lid, we need to do the most important step of eyeshadow. This is something that really separates a more professional eyeshadow look from something a little bit more basic, which is blending, guys. It's so simple. So all you need is a fluffy brush. So this one is fluffier, more floofy than the brush that I just used. This is from Refer. It's the number 15. This brush is incredible for blending eyeshadow. And all I'm gonna do is slowly go over top of the edges of that eyeshadow that I just laid down. And I'm gonna do small circular motions and then some windscreen wiper motions as well, as Charlotte Tilbury would say. Windscreen wiper motions. We call them windshield wipers where I'm from, but I always say windscreen wipers, which I guess is what they say in the UK because that's what I learned from Charlotte. But yeah, we're just gonna slowly take our time and we're gonna blend out that shadow so that we don't have a hard line and so that the color kind of diffuses from our eyelid out towards our brow bone. I'm not going super heavy-handed and blending like crazy and going really quickly. You see that a lot on TikTok. That's because people are trying to get their makeup videos done in 15 seconds so that you don't scroll away from their videos. Take your time, small blending motions. Don't make everything look super crazy and blown out. Be really intentional with the way that you do this step, and it's gonna make your eyeshadow look so much better at the end. I really like my eyeshadow to be kind of lifted and pulled out this way. So what I like to do with my blending brush on the very edges is just that exact motion. Just pull that eyeshadow out towards the tail of my brow where I want it to go so that I'm helping to elongate and lift my eyes. Okay, so I feel like a lot of you are gonna wanna leave your eyeshadow here, go in with eyeliner, mascara, move on to the next parts of doing your makeup. But the thing is, you guys, when you're doing your makeup for a special event, you want to do more than what you typically normally would do. You want to just apply more product. It's going to do two different things for you. Number one, it's going to make your makeup last. If you add more, it's gonna last longer, and it's also gonna look better in photos. If you ever find yourself applying a full face of makeup and then looking at photos of yourself from an event later on and feeling like you can't even see the makeup that you put on your face, it's just because you're not applying enough. The HD high flash cameras, they really wash out a lot of the different colors and dimension that are in your face. And so in order to make your makeup stand out, in order to look really good in that professional flash photography, you wanna do more makeup than what you're used to. And the thing is, what you're used to is a key phrase, because you may feel like it's more than what you're used to and you might be a little uncomfortable with it at first, but the longer you wear it throughout the day, the more you're gonna get used to it and the more you're gonna like it. I promise. I'm not saying you have to go super heavy-handed and that things need to be really over the top, but you just wanna apply more than you usually do if those are the types of things that you're struggling with when you're doing special event makeup. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna just deepen this, we're gonna darken this, we're gonna add a little bit more dimension, a little bit more color, just to bring things to the next level. So I'm gonna go in with a darker shade than the one that I just put down. You could use one like this. You could use one like this. You could even do the brown if you wanted to keep things a little bit more neutral, a little bit less colorful, but I'm a colorful gal and I feel like the fall is a great time to experiment with color. These kind of plummy, burgundy, purpley type tones are almost like a neutral when it comes to the fall time. So play with color, especially if you have like hazel or green or brown eyes. These types of purpley tones will really make them pop. I'm gonna take the color Rebellion, a darker purple with a little bit of a red undertone. I've got this on the same brush that I was using to put on the first eyeshadow, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of this to the outer corner of my eye. On both sides. So I'm just patting that on so that I can keep the color where I want it. And then you can take your blender brush again and just do the same thing, just really lightly blend over the edges so that there's no harsh lines. To keep this look feeling a little bit more natural, to keep your eyes feeling a little bit more open, if that's what you're going for, just keep the blending of this darker shade to the outer corner. If you're like me and you like a little bit more of a cat eye, then you can bring this blending all the way in through the crease or above the crease to the inner corner. And I like to almost blend right here on the edge of my nose. If I was going to do a nose contour, it would kind of connect here with my nose contour, okay? So this is going to give more of that cat eye, but that means that it's going to close off the eye a little bit as well. So if you want your eyes to look really wide and open, because I know a lot of people ask me to make their eyes look bigger, just keep this blending to the outer corner. Don't bring it all the way in like this. I love a shimmer, and I feel like for special event makeup, a little bit of a shimmery, glittery kind of eyeshadow is so beautiful, especially in low lighting. So what I'm gonna do is just take any kind of shimmery tone. I'm gonna take this, this one right here in the palette. It's got kind of a purple undertone to it. Just on my finger, because these kind of glittery, shimmery shades work best with the finger. And I'm just gonna apply that right to the very center of my lid for a little bit of a pop. A little bit of something eye-catching. And if you haven't done the perfect blend between the two shadows that we just put down, if you put this one right on that line in between where you're trying to blend the two different colors together, it can help hide that inexperience of blending. It just covers up where the two colors mix, and so if it's not blended perfectly, it's a nice little hack that you can do to make things just look a little bit more seamless. And so if that feels like enough for you, I would say this is definitely enough for an event style makeup, but I just wanna go a little bit further. I wanna take this just one step further. So I'm gonna take a smaller brush. This guy looks like this. You can see it's a lot smaller than the one that I was just using to blend. Here's the one from Rougher, just for comparison. It's just a little mini version. You could also use something like this. I actually love this brush for doing this type of look as well. This is a Real Techniques. So just something small, a little bit more dense, but still fluffy so that you can use it to blend. And I'm gonna go into the darkest color in this palette, which just happens to be a brown. Whatever color it was, if it was black, if it was a really, really dark purple, I would just use whichever one was the darkest. I'm gonna take it on this tiny little brush and just add a little bit of that depth into the very, very outer corner of the look. I don't really want it to look brown. I just want to add a little bit more depth and dimension to that outer corner. I'm going back in with my big fluffy blender brush because it does such a good job of blending, but I'm going to be really careful with blending this out. I don't want to blend it all over and mix it into all of the other colors that are going on. I'm just doing really, really small, tiny little blender motions just to add that little bit of extra depth and darkness. The next step is going to be to clean up underneath our eyes. The reason why we did our eye makeup first is so that I can take a little cotton pad and just run it underneath here to pick up any of the glitter or the eyeshadow that had fallen down while we did all of our work and all of our blending. Somehow I appear to have gotten some on my nose. And then I'm also going to use this, see, look how much came up, to just kind of clean up the edge here as well. I wasn't super specific when I was blending out the outside edge of my shadow because I knew I was going to be coming in with this little cotton pad. And I'm just going to use the edge of that just to clean up here and give things a little bit more of an intentional shape. Could use a makeup wipe for this if you wanted, whatever you want, a Q-tip. Next, we're gonna do liner. You guys can do whatever type of eyeliner you want, whether you're just smudging a pencil into your lash line, whether you use a liquid liner, whether you use gel like me, whatever type of liner you wanna do, whatever color you wanna do, whether that be black for something nice and dramatic or brown for something a little bit softer, go ahead and apply your eyeliner now. The only thing that I will say is that you have to do an eyeliner, guys, you do. It's gonna make such a big difference. It's gonna bring more attention to the eyes. It's gonna make your eyelashes look thicker and longer. It's gonna help hide our lash band when we apply our false lashes later. It's just really important. You gotta do a little bit of liner, whatever the style of liner is that you choose to do. If you've been around on my channel, then you know my favorite type of liner is a gel liner with a little angled brush, winged out on the outside edges. And after mascara, I'm gonna go in with some false lashes. You absolutely do not need to wear false lashes if you don't want to, but I highly recommend them. They make such a difference in the overall look. I think they just add so much. They make you look so pretty and they look so good in photos. So if you're not used to wearing them, choose a really natural, light, fluffy pair. They're gonna be easier to put on if you choose that style, and they're gonna feel more comfortable. I have an entire video. It's really old, but I feel like it's really thorough. So if you struggle with putting false lashes on, I'm gonna link it down below. It just goes through everything that you need to know to get your falsies to apply perfectly every single time. So go and check out that video. And I also just remembered I have a full video about how I do winged eyeliner. So I'm gonna link that down below as well if you guys wanna practice doing your winged liner, or you wanna do your eyeliner like how I have mine done in this video to match the look as well. You can go and check out those videos. They're just a little bit more specific and go through things kind of step by step, which we don't have time to do in every single video. Okay, the lashes are on. The glue is still drying, so I may fiddle with them a little bit more once the glue dries, but I basically just ended up cutting a pair in half and using mostly the outer corner just to give that little bit of lift and more of like a cat eye look. I think they look really good. And our eyes are almost done. So we're gonna finally move over to the complexion. I cannot wait to cover this shit up. So I've already prepped my skin. I've done all of my skincare and my exfoliation and everything. I'm gonna have a video coming out very soon all about how to maintain glowy skin in the cold, dry months. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video. But for today, I'm just gonna go right ahead and go in with some foundation. My favorite foundation for events is this one right here, the Lancome Tint Needle Ultra Wear Foundation. I love it because it is super long wearing and it just makes my skin look so perfect and beautiful. It's not too glowy, it's not too matte, it's literally just the perfect event makeup. And I've actually gone ahead and put 2 pumps of this foundation on the back of my hand. Normally for day-to-day wear, I would only use 1 pump of foundation just because I like my skin to be a little bit lighter. I like it to breathe a little bit more, but we're doing event makeup and we want this makeup to last and we want everything to look really flawless. So we are just gonna use, like I said before with the eyeshadow, a little bit more than we're used to, and that's gonna make all of the difference in the world. I'm telling you guys, if you want your makeup to last, use more of it. I'm blending my foundation in with a beauty blender. You can use whatever you want, a brush, a sponge, your fingers, however you like to apply your foundation. Go right ahead. I just find this the quickest and the easiest, and I like that the beauty blender is damp because I feel like it just adds a little bit of extra moisture into my blending, which makes things go a little bit easier. I haven't worn a foundation this pale in so long, but I think, are we there? I don't know. I do still have a little bit of a tan from the summer, but last time I mixed this foundation with a darker foundation to try and match my tan. I felt like my foundation was just like way too dark for me. So I'm trying it today without mixing. It's feeling a little ghosty. It's feeling a little light. So we'll go a little bit more heavy-handed with the bronzer to even that out. Or maybe I'm just not used to wearing foundation this light and I need to just get used to it because fall and winter are here and my skin tone just is going to be lighter. Nothing wrong with having pale skin, obviously. I just love having a summer tan. I actually don't fake tan in the winter because I like having a period of paler skin. I think it looks really nice in its own way as well. But yeah, it's just a little bit of a transition from summer to winter or summer to fall. So with my concealer, I'm gonna add a little bit underneath my eyes. I'm also gonna add a little bit on the outer corner of my eye. I'm gonna use that to clean up my eyeliner. I've already cleaned it up with my cotton pad and made it really nice and sharp, but I'm just gonna use the concealer to kind of emphasize that effect as well. And then if I have any areas where any acne is poking through, I mean, I'm wearing a lot of foundation, so I don't really need to cover much more up, but I do have a breakout happening down here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of extra coverage there. I could add some here, but it's just gonna end up all over my earring, so we'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna blend under my eye with my sponge until I get to this outside corner, and then I'm gonna switch to a concealer brush. I have this one from MAC in my personal brushes. It's way too big to do what I do with it. The one in my kit is from Refer and it's a lot smaller and I like it so much more, but I'm just using what I have. So this is really thin and flat and it's gonna help me just be more precise and get right up against that eyeliner and make things look nice and clean and sharp. Another extremely important step in making your makeup last is by setting it. This is something I know a lot of you guys aren't doing. And if you are, you're not using enough product. We're gonna see a lot of the same themes coming through this video over and over again. So the powder that I like to use is a pressed powder from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. I've been using this powder for many, many years. And I'm really going to just go ahead and immerse my brush in that product, tap off a tiny bit of the excess, and then pat that in underneath my eye first. I'm gonna put this first down where I applied my under eye concealer because I really want to prevent that concealer from creasing, and this is what's going to do it. If you have more mature skin with lots of fine lines and wrinkles underneath your eyes, don't follow these steps the way that I've done them. Instead of using a thicker, more matte concealer, you want to use something that's really light and thin and hydrating. It's not going to give you as much coverage. It's not going to do as good of a job of blanking out the under eye darkness, but it's also not going to look really dry and crepey and settle into all of the fine lines underneath your eyes. So if you use something more hydrating, more of a medium coverage, apply it really lightly handed. You can blend it in with a finger and then go in with just a light dusting of powder. That's going to work a lot better for you. The concealer that I would recommend for that would be something like the new Makeup Forever concealer, the one that they replaced the HD self-setting concealer with, or the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer. Both of those would be perfect for someone with more mature skin to use underneath their eyes. Once I have my under eyes set, then I'm gonna go ahead and set the rest of my face. I know that you guys want glowy skin. I know that you want to glow, and we are gonna glow. I've built up my base underneath to be really glowy and bright and fresh and hydrated, and then we're gonna add some glow products on top, and all of that is gonna give us the glow that we want. But if you want your makeup to last throughout the night, if you want it to stay on your face, not crease, not disappear into your skin, you want to do a full face set to lock everything in. I get very sweaty on my nose, so I always add a second layer of powder to my nose. I add a little bit extra to my smile lines because my foundation always creases in my smile lines. So if you have areas of your face that get super oily, don't be afraid to go in with a second layer. And you guys can see that I'm patting that powder into my skin. I'm not just lightly brushing it on. I'm really pressing it into my face to help lock everything in and just keep it really like tight and solid. I'm so happy to have that acne covered up. My skin looks so much better. Thank the Lord. Okay guys, next up we're gonna go in with a little bit of bronzer, and I'm gonna use a powder. I know that we all love our creams. I know that we're all loving the cream life, and that's great for day to day. But if you want your makeup to last and you want it to stand out in photos, you guys, it's not going to do either of those things if it's a cream. It's just not going to. Cream products are not made to be long wearing. They are going to sink into your skin. And yeah, they look really natural and glowy and pretty, but for event makeup, we just want something a little bit different. We don't want our makeup to be the same as it is on a day-to-day basis. So for event makeup, I'm always going to recommend powders over creams. If you really want to lock this makeup in, like if I were doing makeup for a bride who needed her makeup to last from 7 in the morning until 1 a.m. the next day, what I would do is I would layer creams and powders together. I would go in with all of my cream products, so cream bronzer, cream blush, cream highlight, and then I would set everything with the powder versions of those products. So I would go in with the powder bronzer, powder blush, powder highlight, all on top of the creams, and that's gonna help just really intensify things and make them last even longer. But if you're a wedding guest, you don't need your makeup to last from super early in the morning until super late at night, and so just going in with a powder product is gonna be just fine. So I'm gonna do the same thing with blush. This is a Charlotte Tilbury blush that is starting to crack and break on me, which is so sad. Here, you can see it here. And this is Love is the Drug from Charlotte Tilbury. A really beautiful pop of pink. If you've done, like me, something more purpley, something a little bit more with like red tones on the eyes, I feel like a pink blush looks so good. They go together so well. So apply your blush however you like to apply it. You can do tops of the cheekbone, like is really popular right now. If you like to just put it on the apples, just put it on your apples. I like to do a little bit of both, a little bit on the apple of my cheek and then blend it back into my contour. If you want to add a little bit to your nose, add a little bit to your nose. do whatever you feel. Blush is probably the product on your face that's gonna fade the quickest and show up the least in photos. So if you really want your blush to last and you want it to look really nice and pretty and blushy in photos, just go a little bit extra, go a little bit more heavy-handed with it when you first apply it. It's gonna feel probably like a lot in person in the moment, but literally by the time you get from your house to the venue, it's already gonna start to have toned down. And as you go throughout the night, it's gonna fade and get down to a place where, you know, it's the perfect amount. I just think it's better to start with a little bit more so that you can get to that place and it's not completely disappeared off your face by the end of the night. Okay, so let's go ahead and just finish off these eyes. I kind of forgot about them for a second there. I'm gonna do this in a really easy way. I'm gonna take a little pencil brush and I'm gonna use the middle toned color, so not the lightest color from the palette, not the darkest color from the palette, but the one that I used that was right in the middle. And I'm gonna run that all the way along my lower lash line from the outer corner to the inner corner. Some people don't like this to go all the way across, so if you just want to do the very outer corner here, you can just do that as well. And to finish them off, I'm going to add a little bit of mascara to my lower lashes. If you're wearing falsies on the top, I highly recommend putting mascara on your lower lashes. I know a lot of people are worried about it. If you're worried about your mascara transferring, use a tubing mascara or a waterproof mascara. That will make a huge difference. But it's really gonna help open your eyes and make things look really nice and balanced if you've got mascara on your lower lashes. And then if I wanted to intensify the cat eye part of this eye look, I could go in with a black eyeliner and use a little bit of that in my waterline. If I wanted to make my eyes look really nice and wide and open and awake, I could use a nude waterline in my waterline. I think everything looks good the way that it is. I'm just gonna leave it as is. Those are the eyes finished. I always like to do my brows after I do my bronzer, so I'm gonna go ahead and do them now. I'm gonna use a little bit of a brow pencil and then a little bit of a tinted brow gel, same way that I do my brows all the time. Brows are very personal. Do your brows the way that you like them, whether that's super brushed up and laminated, whether that's really fine and defined. Do them however you like, you guys. Just make sure that you fill them in. Brows are probably the most important part of your makeup look. They really frame the face and make such a huge difference to the overall look. Okay, last but not least, well, I guess lips will be last, so this is like second last but not least. We're gonna do some highlight. We're gonna make this skin glow. So I would say this is the one exception where if you want to use a cream highlight, you can use a cream highlight. Cream highlight looks so beautiful in photos. It really flashes. It looks so nice in flash photography. Two that I would recommend are the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in the color Spotlight, or this one from Merit I've been loving lately. It is the Day Glow Highlighting Balm in Cava. Personally, I am just gonna continue on with the powder train. My skin is a little bit on the oilier side, so as I go throughout the night, a lot of natural oils are gonna start to come through anyways, and that's gonna give kind of that like liquid highlight glow all on its own without needing any addition of liquid highlight. So if you have oily skin, I would go with a powder for this step as well. If you have drier skin, maybe you're someone who can use a liquid, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna use a powder. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is Becca Champagne Pop. I always reach for it for special events. And I'm gonna add this to the very tops of my cheekbones here. A little bit above my eyebrows. You can add it to the inner corner of your eye, the tip of your nose. Maybe I'll add a little bit to my Cupid's bow. You can add a little bit to your chin. Like I said, I get oily throughout the night, especially when I'm like dancing and having a good time. So I don't need to add too much extra highlight, but add as much as you want to give yourself that beautiful glowy looking skin. So if you guys saw my everyday fall makeup routine, I talked about this Say lip gloss, and I'm gonna use it in this video again. I've used this in my last, I don't know, like so many videos, 4 or 5, I don't even know. But it's just the perfect fall shade, and I feel like it's gonna go so nicely with this eye look. So what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of liner. This one's from MAC in the color Soar. This color perfectly matches the eyeshadow that I have on. In the video where I show you guys how I like to do winged eyeliner, I also talk about how to apply lip liner. So if you guys want to see some tips for that, definitely check out that video. Oh my god, the construction is so loud. It literally sounds like the world is ending out there. I hope it's not super loud on the camera, you guys. Ugh, it's gonna be like this forever. They're literally doing 2 construction projects that are gonna go on for years and years. Hopefully we move, honestly, before we have to deal with that for like the next 5 years. Finally, actually, last but not least. Oh wait, we have to do setting spray. Okay, second last but not least. This Say lip gloss. It's just a perfect color. I wish that it was more hydrating. I wish that it smelled better, but it looks so good. And then finally, last but not least, setting spray. If you want your makeup to be locked and loaded, not move, last for the entire night, you can use the One Size Until Dawn setting spray. This is gonna mattify your makeup. It's literally like hairspray. It sprays out of this bottle like hairspray. It has a really strong scent. It makes your face feel kind of sticky, at least for a couple of hours. I have a full video reviewing this if you wanna check that out as well. I'm gonna have everything linked down below, guys. Just check it out for all the good stuff. But this stuff will make your makeup last. I highly, highly recommend this. If you don't want to change the finish of your makeup, if you don't like the super heavy fragrance, if you don't want your makeup to feel sticky, the Urban Decay All Nighter is also amazing. This is gonna help just melt all of the powders down into your skin, make your skin look less powdery and more of like a natural skin-like finish, but it's not gonna make your skin look more glowy or more matte, and it will absolutely help your makeup last throughout the night. So because I'm more on the matte side and I want to just add a little bit of extra glow and help melt those powders down into my skin, I am going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter. If you have dry skin, definitely go for this one over this one. If you have oily skin, definitely go for this one over this one. If you're somewhere in between, just, yeah, watch the video actually where I compare these two and you can decide what you want. Make sure you're using enough setting spray, you guys. Every time I spray setting spray on people, they say, oh my god, you use so much. Like, yeah, you need to drench your entire face in this stuff to make it work, okay? You're not gonna ruin your makeup. It's made with a super fine mist so that it's not gonna like splat into your makeup and make things look crazy. And there we have it, you guys. My fall special event, fall wedding guest makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new. I tried to give some tips in this video that I don't give in every single tutorial that I give. I just wanted it to be some new information for my returning viewers. I absolutely love this look. I would wear this makeup every single day if I could. When I used to work for Charlotte Tilbury, I could do my makeup like this every single day and it was literally a dream come true. These days, this is a very special event type look. I feel like people don't really wear their makeup like this just on like a day-to-day basis anymore, but I truly wish that we did, guys, because this is just amazing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That's going to help more people to see it too. You can subscribe to my channel if you're new and you want to see more beauty content, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.